Franziska Preuss finally does it. And it's kind of weird to think, but she's finally a world champion. Period. She's finally a world champion, Ethan. She has a world championship relay, a relay gold medal back in 2015 from Contilati. But she's finally got her sprint was her first medal, was second place, and then she's now a world champion in the pursuit. It's so weird to think that this is her first world championships, and I don't know what it is about Preuss, but I just kind of lump her in there with the Laura Dahlmeyers, Denise Hermans of the biathlon world. But when you look at her results over the last couple of years, she's been through absolute hell when it comes to sickness, illness, injury. And I don't know, for me, it's just a little interesting to hear that this is her first medal and her first world championship, but definitely no one more deserving. I mean, we're talking about Tandervold's health issues that she's been overcoming this season. Tandervold's been doing, Preuss has been doing this her entire career. So it's just so cool that she's done it. She's made it to the top, and kind of like where you were talking about earlier, it's like, hey, only one more medal to earn after this.
Yeah. And you said, we kind of lump her into that group of favorites every day for years now. And with the season she's been having, I'm not surprised. I would have been, incredibly surprised if she didn't leave with a medal or an individual medal from this World Champs. If you look at her World Championship results from previous years, she has multiple World Championships in Pachuca, Antolz, where she was never outside the top 10. She was always at the worst 8th or higher.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But never got the individual medal.
Wow.
I
wonder
hasn't been since 20.
How many wins has she had? Looks like she's had 4 wins in her career, 27 podiums. Jeez. Man, she might go down. This could be some actually, we could do it right here because I'm looking at it. Might take a second here. But here we go. Records. She could go down as probably one of the best women ever in terms of podium percentage. But the poor, I guess we'll go top 5s maybe. Oh, let's go podiums, all-time podiums. Dahlmeyer, Neuner, Beck, Preuss. Okay, so I'm not going to count this all because it's out of order. But I mean, she's right up there with some really big names, more than Preuss or more than Denise Herman-Vick. She has more podiums than Denise Herman-Vick, but Denise has 13 wins of those 26 podiums, and Preuss only has 4. Wow, look at this! All of these women in front of her, and I'm sure there's even a lot behind her that have more. Lou Jamineau. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see where she ranks as an all-time biathlete, but yeah, I mean, she's been fighting so many. It's been mostly illness, I think, has been her number one struggle. So it's cool that she can at least get to this point in the season healthy. I mean, she's our current yellow bib wearer, so she's our current leader. So she's got to finish it out, and that's going to be the big test for her, because just with how her career has gone up until this point, I could see maybe after World Champs, she goes to one party to celebrate, gets sick, and then boom, she misses the last trimester. Elvira Orberg sneaks in front of her in the overall or something. I would still be on my tiptoes if I was the German Federation, and if I was Preuss, I would be like, hey, we got basically one more month, a month and a half, because we're mid-February right now, a month and a half more. Wear that mask, stay safe. Let's get through the season. Let's just finish this out strong.
Yeah. And there's only been 2 races this whole 4 races this whole year she's been off the podium. which is crazy.
Really? That's really crazy.
And we talked about previously how on the women's side, whoever has the least bad performances is going to win the overall. And she has been so consistently good that even with Lou Jean-Monod, crushing the last trimester before World Champs, Franziska Preuss was the next athlete pretty much every race in second or third.
Yeah, that's actually crazy because Jean-Monod has 6 wins this year.
Mm-hmm.
Preuss only has 2. But to your point, Jean-Monod has like 4 races outside of the top 10, where Preuss only has 2.
Yeah.
So that's actually a pretty interesting observation here. Because you're right, and we have talked about this in the past. Like when it comes to the women's overall, it's so tightly packed. And I mean, and we're kind of missing Tandervold this year. We're missing Vitozzi. We're missing Davidova from the Czech Republic. I feel like we're missing some, but we're missing some of our top performers.
Mm-hmm.
But even still, it's so tightly packed that it's going to be who can eliminate those bad races the most. I mean, Julie Simone's having a great season, but she's got this race which is out of the points, and then a ton of pretty bad performances here. Elvira, like, having a great season, but that's a bad performance. Like, it's who can have the least amount of bad performances.
Mm-hmm.
And Jean-Monod's right there. She's coming for it. But I mean, based on this, right? I know we're talking about world champs. I mean, based on this chart right here, we got one more trimester because world champs don't count for points. One more trimester. Who's gonna take this home? Is Oberg gonna is she gonna get back in with Jean-Monod? Is Jean-Monod gonna pass Preuss? Like, what's gonna happen at the end here?
I feel like it's got to be Preuss because her trend line of results is just so consistently straight, except for those 2 races where she was 20th and in the 20s, which I'm pretty sure she was sick at the end of one of the trimesters or one of the World Cup weekends.
Yeah.
But she never has like that big of a dip. She had 2, bad races by the, her metrics for this year, but then she got right back to it. And although Jean-Monod is closing, she's closing as little as she can, if that makes sense. Like Preuss is still minimizing and limiting any damage possible.
Yeah. I think go ahead.
I just have a feeling that Jean-Monod isn't going to be able to shake Preuss enough to win the overall by the end of the season.
Yeah. I think, like, when I look at some of these names in the top 5 who are still sort of in contention, I feel like Jean-Monod is, in my opinion, is missing. Like, she's really fit. Like, she's a really strong skier, but she's missing that like give it to her competitors type of speed, like Jean-Monod or like Orberg has, or like Breza-Boucher has. Elvira is completely inconsistent on the range. Simone is completely inconsistent on the range. I think Richard is way too inexperienced, and she's also a little bit too far back now to make a run for it. Same with Michelin, Groten, Minkinen. So, like, when I look at these names, the only name that sort of stands out as being like, that's a sure bet, is Preuss. She's a really good shooter. Her skiing is not as fast as Oberg and Breza-Boucher or Simone, but it's better. I think it's just as good as Jean-Monod, if not a little bit better. So yeah, I think it's like when I look at this list, I just see Preuss as like just an overall great biathlete, like missing not doesn't really have any of those holes in her performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think she showed that in the pursuit at World Champs, where she showed that, like, hit you in the face. It might not be in ski speed, but she's going to dominate on the range.
Yeah.
And if she gets 20, 30-second lead, she's going to hit her targets at her own pace, do her thing, and no one's going to even touch her, get into the picture, race over right there.
Yeah, I totally agree.